Start on.
Sai Ram, Sai Ram. Okay, Sai Ram, everyone. We will start with prayers, Sri Omkaram. Oh. Sai Ram, everyone. I offered my loving salutations at the lotus feet of our dearest Mother Sai. A hearty welcome to the panelists who have joined us today to answer questions which the devotees in North America have. This is the first opportunity we have gotten to bring you all to the devotees in North America. I thank Swami for making this possible. And I would extend a welcome to all those devotees who have joined us today to listen to the panelists and ask your questions, so that any doubts, any questions you have, clarifications you have about the formation of Global Council is put to rest, so that we can let that not be the distraction in our spiritual journey, which is the core reason for which we have all come. We all should understand that this organization is a spiritual organization with the sole objective of reaching Swami. And I think, as personally, I feel Global Council also is a very nice opportunity for us to come as a world, a devotee around the world, come together and pray to Swami as one body, one family. And the mother will be happy when all the children are together. Swami always says, "Kalasi melisi perugutam, kalasi melisi tirugutam." So he says we should all mingle together, and that is the final love embraces everyone. So hopefully we will achieve that. And even though we may choose to align ourselves operationally for whatever reason, I think there should not be any ill feeling. We should know that we have, for the right reasons, we have chosen whatever path or alignment association we have chosen. So the whole purpose is, and you may ask why was this arranged? We are a group of alumni who had organized a session with Mr. Rathanakar, Sri Rathanakar, a month or two ago, so that we understand from him what the perspective of Central Trust is. But no call or no Zoom call was ever arranged with North America. So many devotees asked, you had arranged for yourself, you're selfish. What about us devotees? We also would like to ask questions. So we took it upon ourselves, because the reality is SSSIO, for whatever reason, they have said there should not be any communication with the Central Trust or its representatives. So I would like to let everyone know I'm not a representative, or the team which has appointed is not a representative of Central Trust. We are just facilitators in the middle, because of alumni have been around in the organization in North America in various roles, and we have gone and spoken. So people have reached out. So that is why we are organizing this. Hopefully, this brings goodwill, spreads goodwill among everyone. Whatever you are in affiliation, at least you have the answers which may be bothering you. So with these words, I would like to ask the agenda is first I will ask each of the panelists, 3 panelists we have got, 2 from the Central Trust and one brother, Nimish Pandya from the Indian organization, which didn't waste any time joining the Global Council. So we would like to hear from him as well. I thank them for attending. So I will ask each one of them to say a few words, their opening remarks, for a few minutes, each of 3 of them. And after that, we will straight away go into the Q&A session. That's the plan. So I will start off with Brother Rathanakar, who is the managing trustee at present, and he needs no introduction. He has been groomed for over many decades by Swami, and granted the position in the Global Trust in 2010. And he was working with the trustees for a decade. And last year, I think he was made the managing trustee unanimously by the other trustees. So I think he has won their confidence and made the managing trustee, so that the functioning of the Prasanthi Nilayam campus and all the institutions can move well. So with those words, I will ask Brother Rathanakar to say a few words, please, opening remarks. Thank you very much, brother.
I offer my humble salutations at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Bhagavan. My brothers and sisters, a very loving Sai Ram to each one of you. To start with, I do not know who are all viewing this webinar, Zoom call. If Dr. Michael Goldstein, if he's watching, very loving Sai Ram to you, Michael Goldstein. Dr. Samuel Sandwise, if you're watching, very loving greetings from Prasanthi Nilayam. Of course, Mrs. Geeta Mohan Ram is nice of her to join us, and greetings to you, ma'am. And if Dr. Geeta Kamath, if you're watching, Sai Ram to you also. Why San Diego Center, where Dr. Samuel Sandwise comes from, that center as Naganand sir, it is registered in the Global Council. So, and similarly, Mrs. Geeta Mohan Ram's Bethesda Center also has registered with Global Council. Dr. Geeta Kamath's Clearwater was the first center in America to click for. So welcome, and they're all very long-standing devotees of Bhagavan. So I thought I should recollect them. I had an opportunity earlier also to speak to alumni for almost 2.5 hours. We had a very long session, and a lot of them have watched it also after it was recorded and put on YouTube's. So I'll take a little less time now today, because I want Brother Naganand and Brother Nimish to take more time on and explain what it is. All we can say is, from my side, this is a beautiful initiative of unity. It's a very, very, it's a very defining moment in the history of Sai Mission. In fact, why we haven't done this so far is the one thing which we are also, maybe we need to answer that question in front of Bhagavan. That this should have been done long time back, because whenever we go through Swami's discourses, when it feels very, very awkward that somehow we miss this, because whatever is printed, whatever you can quote 1987 or 2006 documents, these are all only a third-party documents, but there is a clear voice of Bhagavan directly saying, even in 87 and later on, very clearly saying that all the countries, I want them to connect to Prasanthi Nilayam. They should have a structure which is similar to that of what we follow in India, and they all should connect themselves to each one directly to Prasanthi Nilayam. And they should have a head office for all of them, and that the head office is Prasanthi Nilayam. Swami's own voice, he talks about it. And there is one more discourse where Swami, in his own mellifluous voice, he talks about that, Central Trust, Sri Sathya Sai Central Trust should have a role, should have a, to play in this international organization. So that is a sacrosanct on which, we all dwelled upon and said, if Swami's words are not implemented in his own organization, then where else we can do that? And we continuously beg forgiveness from Swami for not taking up this initiative for this long. And I'm sure Swami also, maybe it's a right time now. It is his own inspiration. It's not we human beings who are trying to do something or disturb anybody. It's completely a unifying initiative which is inspired by only Bhagavan. Every step is only guided by Swami. And I think the result is being seen. That is what we every day it affirms to me, because whenever I pray to Swami and I think of him and say, oh, please guide us. And this is one thing which is very clearly tells me in my heart, and that this is the right move that all of us have taken. And I'm so happy that many Sai devotees want to do that, want to join this beautiful family, connected family to Prashanti Nilayam. And with these words, I think all of us, Swami will guide each one of you, each one on this, whoever is affiliated to Bhagavan, whoever. If they have even slightest of doubt, Swami will definitely will let us pray to him to guide. And here we are, I would like to say in a very initial itself, in the beginning itself, this initiative was not to disturb any of the organizations or any of the persons. It was not targeted, and neither Indian organization nor SSIO, we never wanted to disturb any of these structures. And it is not in our interest, and it is detrimental to us if we disturb a Sai mission. No. We have done only to strengthen the Sai organization, and we wanted to institutionalize certain arrangements in a very most understandingly and very nice way. And I think we have done our best to put in a structure, put in a effort. All our efforts were to only to unite and together. If anybody has seen anything else that is there, if they have had some prejudices, if they had any of their own misgivings, I think, we have tried our best, and we have been trying and will continue to strive to clear the doubts of people. Sathya Sai Central Trust has no intention to run any of the organizations. Let me be very clear. Sathya Sai Central Trust has no intention to run any of the organizations. They have already set mechanism. We only wanted them to connect to onto a particular way, so that any things which we face in future or any time, we should be able to do it together, so that we are strong, and we won't fall prey to any outside forces. And that is exactly, perhaps that's the divine wisdom in which why Swami said, all of you connect to Prashant Nilayam directly, and Sathya Sai Central Trust will have a role. But let me clarify one point here. Most of them keep saying Sathya Sai Central Trust wants control. No. Please, there are two different bodies. Sathya Sai Central Trust and Sathya Sai Global Council are completely two different bodies. Sathya Sai Central Trust is a members of 9 people in that, and it takes care of institutions and whatever you see, hospitals, schools, colleges, and other humanitarian projects. The Global Council is predominantly of organizations, the Indian organization, and we wanted even international organizations to be part of it. And we had only had a very minor representation from Sathya Sai Central Trust, and they are only representatives, that's it. But things have blown out of proportion, and they have been made to look as if Sathya Sai Central Trust is trying to take over, and whatever. I don't need to go into that. So that is not our intention, and Sathya Sai Central Trust and SSGC are two different entities. on this background, I think, I would request, I don't know, that's all I can say.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Brother Rathanakar. Thank you. So I will now call upon Sri Naganand to say a few words, but just before he starts, I would like to introduce him formally. I think I owe it to him. I should call him the Swami's lawyer. And the past, at least the last 2 decades of Swami's physical presence, every single legal structure which was put in place, Brother Naganand was personally guided by Swami. And so he understands what Swami expects when any institution which Swami wants to establish, what should be looked into and so on. He was very much involved in at least the last 10 years, I would say, in every single, or maybe more, I think he can correct me, but he's with us today and he's a member of the trust. So I will ask Brother Naganand to please say a few words, please, as opening remarks. Thank you. Sai.
Sri Sai Ram. My Sashtanga pranams at divine lotus feet of Swami. I pray to Swami to guide me, to guide all of us, to make the right decision, the right choice, and follow the right path. This webinar is a consequence of certain recent developments. So before I go to the recent developments, I thought it would be necessary for me to give a few little background facts. No, Swami started the Sathya Sai Central Trust in the early 70s. Before that, there was also one trust in Bombay, called Sathya Sai Trust at Maharashtra Trust, Bombay Trust. The charitable activities which Swami started, under the Indian laws, they have to be formed into a trust. Swami was the sole trustee of the Sathya Sai Central Trust for most of the time of its existence, except for a very short period in between and 1 year prior to Mahasamadhi. This is the only period when there were other trustees in it. So Swami solely ran this entire trust, which included the setting up of the universities, the hospitals, and everything else. Let's keep that in mind. Now, 1 year before Mahasamadhi, Swami inducted a few trustees into the trust and also appointed a new council of management, of which I was most blessed and privileged to be there. And shortly after Mahasamadhi, the role of this council of management was not very clear, and therefore all the members of the council of management were appointed as trustees. So we became 9 trustees. There was no council of management thereafter. That was in charge of running the hospitals, the universities. Every other activity is done directly. See, so long as Swami was there with us physically, he looked after everything individually. In fact, for want of time, I won't go into that. Maybe some other time I'll talk about it. When Swami said, I will do it, Bangaru, you don't do anything, he really meant it. Unless a specific instruction was given to you to do something, there was nothing for you to do. You had to just be with Swami. That's it. Swami would manage everything. Any problem that arose, you would have to just tell him, Swami, there's some small problem, I have some doubt, he will resolve it. He said, don't worry. You don't think about it. Don't worry about it. So what I'm saying is that was the level. And every single rupee that was spent in Central Trust, Swami signed. Every single rupee, not even 1 rupee went without Swami knowing what it is. That's the extent of control Swami had. Now, Swami also inspired us and formed this Sathya Sai Seva organization in India and abroad. The whole object, if you see Swami's message, the message of Swami is that we should all do seva to humanity so that we are able to realize the innate divinity of God in everyone. The whole seva organization is for us, not for Swami. So if Swami wanted to hire 10,000 people to do some manual labor somewhere, he could have done it in 1 minute's time. There was no need. But seva organization is meant for something else. So he started the seva organization. Same thing in the world organization. Now you see, the thing is, when so long as Swami was physically with us, he was instrumental in guiding all the leaders. There was no doubt about it. From the lowest to the highest, he was the one who was looking after it, guiding it. Personally, I'm saying. He knew millions of people. He would actually look at a lot of people and talk with them. He knew their families. So this was the extent. Now, you see, Swami wanted these institutions to run. Swami did not want the Seva organization to be incorporated as a body or form a legal entity, because the object was nothing. The object was only to motivate people to continue to do Seva for their own redemption. Now, these were therefore nebulous organizations. Now, so long as Swami was there, he was taking all decisions relating to appointment of all office bearers and giving every other direction that was needed. Now, afterwards, when the last All India president for the Sai organization in India was appointed by Bhagwan, was Mr. V. Srinivasan. Now, after Mahasamadhi, he also felt that it was time for him to step down for health and other reasons. So thereafter, he decided to appoint Nimish Bhai. Nimish Bhai became the All India president. Now, the thing is, how does Nimish appoint somebody else? So there is some collective decision making that was needed. Therefore, in his wisdom, Nimish Bhai will speak about it a little later. He formed a council, National Council, in which Central Trust representative is there. This council will give some advice. Now, the same thing, so far as the international organization is concerned, Swami set up and inspired what is called as a Prashanti Council. There's a lot of discussion about what is the Prashanti Council, what is its role and everything else. Now, what is the role of the leaders in the Sai organization? Their role is only to lead. Their role is to hear, clear, understand, and propagate Swami's views. That's all. They are not here to control your bank account. They're not here to control the way your Samiti or Sai center works. They're not here to tell you who should be the appointed where. That is not the role at all. The role is of inspiring people to go on Swami's path for their own redemption, not for anything else. Now, in a situation like this, what is the role of a leader? If you ask me, I should be ready at all points of time to say, Swami, you have given me an opportunity to do Seva. I'm willing to step down anytime now. I will sit in the last row in darshan. So long as I'm having beautiful darshan of Swami and listening to his mellifluous bhajans, listening to his discourses, what more do I want from Swami? I don't want anything more. He's given me more than what I deserve. That is my attitude. Now, you see, in the International Seva organization, they became, after the Mahasamadhi, they started functioning from America. They slowly sort of, what shall I say? I wouldn't say disconnected. They started distancing themselves. What activity they were doing was not being promptly discussed with us, with the Central Trust, not being shared with us. Once a year, they would give a report. Even meetings that were held there, we don't know what it was. We were not party to it. And there were sometimes, we got feedback from devotees who come to say that in certain centers, what they're doing is not right. It should not be done like this. So with this in the background, the Central Trust has been thinking as to how to unify everybody. So the whole process of setting up the Global Council was to put all people at one table. And in this table, who is going to control the table? If you see, Central Trust has only got 3 nominees. In the Global Council, which has over 100 members of all the member countries, international chair, national president of All India organization, all the zonal chairs, all the Prashanti Council members, all the central coordinators, and a few others. If they want to co-opt somebody, we can. So in this large body, what is 3 members of the Central Trust going to do? How are we going to control anybody? Everything is a democratic process. Now, what they were doing as Prashanti Council is going to be done in a collective body, which is a vaster body, wider body. And the number of Sai volunteers and Sevadal and devotees in Indian organization, if you compare to the world organization, in percentage terms, I would say the Indian organization, world organization, the ratio would be 10:1. That is the number. So it should be even less. So the Indian organization welcomed this and said, "Yeah, we are very happy. We are going to be sitting together with Central Trust, 3 of you, and we'll have all discussions. We will know what is happening in Central Trust. We will know what's happening in international organizations. We have no problem." Nimish Bhai cleared it in 6 hours time and sent a mail to say, "I most welcome it." He gave 1 or 2 suggestions, which we considered and incorporated. Now, the same thing didn't happen with international organization. When we placed this before him 2 days or 3 days before I made the announcement at the request of all the trustees on last birthday of Swami, 23rd of November, they said, "No, we need time." And they went on, it went around in a whirlwind kind of thing. I don't want to, it's a very unpleasant thing what happened. Therefore, let us not talk of unpleasant things. When you are in Swami's company, we'll talk of only good things that have happened. After several months, a meeting took place. A draft of a document was circulated. They did not come up with any kind of changes. Then First, they said they won't meet. Categorically said, we don't have any meeting with you. We don't want to meet you. Then a meeting was held. At the meeting, it was decided that 3 people will sit down and try to resolve this. Brother Rathanakar, Brother Nimish Pandya, and Dr. Reddy. These were the 3 people. They had confabulations. They exchanged some documents. The international organization gave us a draft. That draft was looked at by us. We cleared everything. We need some housekeeping changes we made in language and other things. Most of it was accepted, except a couple of things we put in it. They just came back to say, no, we are not agreeable for any of these things. And finally, they said, we don't want to continue the dialogue anymore. Now, what I'm saying is the Global Council has 2 executive committees. One executive committee for international, one executive committee for Indian. In the executive committee for international, it will have all Prashanti Council members. It will have the international chair. It will have the 3 trustees of Sathya Sai Central Trust, and it will have all the zonal chairs and coordinators in it. That's the executive committee. They are going to decide everything. Whatever they decide is what is going to be implemented. So who are they afraid of? Now they're saying that this is an attempt to take over. What is the meaning of takeover? Who is taking over whom? Central Trust has no majority in either Global Council or in the executive committees. Central Trust has no right of veto because all decisions are taken by simple majority. And someone has to issue a letter of appointment. If supposing after Dr. Reddy, some other chairman is to be appointed, who will issue him the letter of appointment? Someone has to do it. So this provides that under the aegis of the Global Council, a formal letter of appointment on the recommendation of the committee will be given by the Central Trust chair who is chairing this meeting. So what is this control we are talking about? There's nothing like control, and there's no idea, there's no need to control, because all Sai centers are working on their own. They don't expect either Naganand or Central Trust or Managing Trustee or anyone to come and tell them what they should do. They're all Swami devotees, no? They know what Swami has asked them to do. They have all the literature with them. They have all the experience, and they have been blessed by Swami. What more do they need from us? They really don't need anything. So there's nothing like our controlling them. Of course, I think there's another issue which is bandied about, saying about money and things like that. Let me tell you very frankly, Central Trust by Swami's grace is completely independent and completely self-sustaining. It doesn't need anyone's help, at least not the international organization. We'll come to a little more details a little later. With these explanatory works, I would close my remarks and leave it open for question time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Naganand. I think you have answered some of
my time.
No problem. It's okay. I think I let you go on because these are what you were saying actually answers many questions people have. So I thought it's okay because ultimately the questions have to be answered because I am familiar with the questions, and I think you also are familiar. Thanks a lot. I will go on to Sri Nimish Pandya's brother. I think he may have to unmute himself. I will just by way of introduction, as you know that Brother Nimish Pandya has been for many decades served the Sri Sathya Sai organization in India, has been guided and groomed by Swami, I would say, and he inherited it when Brother Srinivasan stepped down from his position as the national president in India. So he is the All India president. He manages a very large, complex organization, almost more than 90% of the entire devotee collective in this world, in India. So I would like to invite him to say a few words, please. Thank you, Brother Nimish Pandya. The floor is yours. Sai.
Om Sri Sai Ram. Offering my most humble salutations at the Divine Lotus feet, acknowledging his presence in this meeting and praying to him to guide all of us with the right thinking and listen to our conscience and pray really hard to him, that Swami, to guide us on all of us, on all the issues that we are facing today. Well, as from the Indian perspective, I have no hesitation in saying that I am the most willing participant of this Global Council concept, because I firmly believe that this is the right path to go further. And this belief of mine, I stand represented by the entire nation of India, which has more than 28 states, a few million active workers, and more than 5,000 centers that are operating in India at this moment. We've had no difficulty in the entire cross-section of the country with one voice, with one feeling, because we've always associated ourselves with Prashant and Nilim. Prashant and Nilim has been our base. In fact, I always say that for any gigantic tree to grow and blossom, the roots have to be very strong. And imagine an international organization, so many different countries, if they all have to be rooted, they have to be rooted in Prashant Nilim, because that's where our master was born. That's where our master committed himself. And that's where our master told his mother that I will never leave this place and go from anywhere, and I'm going to be here. These are the things that all of us know with great conviction, that the master always wanted Prashant Nilim as the root. And even otherwise, I do believe that the world to grow, the world to prosper, every wing of the organization to prosper everywhere in the world, if it is not rooted in the divine precincts of Prashant and Nilim, this tree cannot grow. That's our conviction. And we also say this not only from a conceptual point of view, but it's been our experience in India. If you take all the 28 states, as Brother Naganand rightly mentioned, it is like a mini world. The north of India, the south of India, the east of India, the west of India, as like different countries of the world. I mean, when somebody mentioned to me that, no, probably from the Indian perspective, you don't understand the international organization, I would beg to differ there, because every state in India is like another country. The south speaks another language, the north speaks another language, perceptions, attitude to spirituality, to religion, to seva is all very diverse. But the great, beautiful thing about India is that all of them are rooted together in the love for Swami and in their connection with Prashant and Nilim. And therefore, in India, there was never a doubt that being rooted to Prashant Nilim can even be an issue. The second foundation that India strongly believes is that we all believe that Swami is the doer, not us. Swami is the person who controls. If you're talking of control, A can't control B. It is only Swami who controls all of us. And the ultimate doer is Swami. And are we not all of us here in this mission to realize this fact? That we are dedicating everything to the Master. It is His will that prevails. In fact, we pray that let thy will be done. Where is the question of your will or my will? Our will is only one, that we follow the Master strictly. There is no debate in following Sai message. And imagine today, there can't be a debate that A is talking of B or B is. We are all servants. We are all dedicated to the divine lotus feet of Bhagavan. Therefore, the debate in India never existed from my perspective. The second part is the experiential part. As Brother Naganand rightly mentioned, that when I was appointed as the All India President, it was by Brother Srinivasan, and who was already a part. He was, I mean, he's been so close with like all the other members of the Central Trust of Bhagavan, and he knew me from childhood. Therefore, he had some background, some kind of a situation where in his conscience, he could have taken a decision that maybe this is the right man, let me try to make him the All India President. But I've always had this situation that when this generation of people that we are all here, who've had the privilege of being with Bhagavan, experiencing Bhagavan in the physical form, when this generation ceases to exist, and that's not very far, next 10 years, and you will find that there are no people or very few people who had this very intrinsic, very intense association with Bhagavan to guide his situation or his mission in a proper manner. Then who's going to decide what? Suppose if there is an aberration, suppose there is a divergence after 10 years or 20 years in the divine mission, who is going to say that, no, this is not correct, this should be correct? It is the collective wisdom of the entire world organization that is going to supervise and guide how strictly and with integrity and with strictness and discipline the Sai message is spent. And therefore, that being the situation in India, I have no hesitation. My term, Dr. Mr. Srinivasan appointed me straight away till I attained the age of 70, and that's another 3 years to go. But I took it upon myself that no, this is not fair, because God knows what happens by the time I go to 70, and therefore there has to be a collective wisdom. And therefore, from the Indian perspective, we formed the National Council. And the National Council, we invited that the Central Trust member must be a part, because togetherness is the divine principle. Coming together, being united, being cohesive is the divine principle. And all of us, and many of you as alumni of Swami's University, you know how Swami used to be happy when people came together. If it was the family, when the whole family was a devotee, Swami would say, oh, I'm so happy the whole family is a devotee. And here the world organization is one organization. There is nothing like India and international. Every human being in whichever part of the world he is associated with Swami. He is Swami's reflection. And therefore, coming together in a united body was definitely our vision also. It was definitely our conviction. In fact, I've mentioned this earlier also. I, as an individual, have been having this conversation with Brother Chakravarti over the last 3-4 years, because this question always bothered my mind also, that today we are all there together. Today all of us know each other. Today all of us have been with Swami 10 years, 20 years. Who's going to take care of this mission? And therefore, the most ideal thing to do was that all wings of the organization must come together in a united body. And I am firmly convinced, and I can say this from experience, that this central trust has never been a dominating body at all. In fact, they have so much work cut out for themselves. And why would they interfere in the centers or the working of the organization at all? Yeah, and as Naganand rightly mentioned, there were some small issues which we sorted out immediately and put the note together. And remember, even in this new setup, I have seen the new setup, I have studied the new setup. There is no disturbance to the centers. For example, in India, I call them samitis, I call them district. There is just no interference, because it is still the All India President who is the executive head of the Indian organization. It is still the international chairman who is the executive head of the world organization. But there is a body of people behind these two significant posts who will guide them. So there is no arbitrariness. There is no kind of any divergence or deviation from the personalities of these two sort of posts, which are so important. And you see in both the executive committees that Brother Naganand mentioned, the authority, except for the appointment of these two authorities themselves, all the other aspects are under the signature of the international chairman and the Indian president. And only thing is that he's guided. And what a beautiful concept it is. If all my national coordinators in India who are going to be part of the National Council, all my National Council members who are very senior members who've been state, will all come together and we sit together and we get guided and corrected, is such a safe thing to do. Yes, as Naganand mentioned, there was when Swami in the physical form, you could have gone to him and said, Swami, this or that. Swami would say, do it and finish it. Here, we have to use our collective wisdom. It is the collective force, the united force of Swami's presence that is going to guide the individuals who are going to be responsible. And let us understand one more thing. In the world of Sai organization, devotees are paramount. The Sai centers are paramount. That's where action is happening. That is the platform where people are coming together and experiencing divinity. What is the role of the top bosses, so-called the top echelons of authority that we've created for ourselves? Is purely facilitation. It is purely being available by sheer practice of divine love and sheer practice of humility and sheer practice of sacrifice. The role of the leader in the Sathya Sai organization is to first understand that Swami is the boss, not you and I. To imagine that the All India President is the boss of the organization is the biggest fallacious thing to do. If the international chairman thinks that he is the authority that controls, it is the biggest mistake that the international chairman and the Indian chairman can make in their life, to believe that they are controlling the entire organization. Or for that matter, even for all the members of the Central Trust, if they start believing that no, they are controlling everything, it is fallacious. Because we are all being controlled by Bhagwan. And that is the best part that we need to understand, and very clearly without any sort of debate in it. I have always believed, brothers and sisters of America and North America, that we are here to implicitly put into practice what Swami has said without any debate. We debated for hundreds and millions of years and created this world for which Swami had to come on earth and tell us that everything in the world is complicated. God alone is simple. Now here we are back again trying to make the whole simplicity which Bhagwan gave the message to us, we're trying to complicate it. No, I don't think that is the agenda. In India, we are convinced. We've had a lovely relationship with the Central Trust. The National Council and Dr. Mohan, who represents the Central Trust in my council, has been a great benefactor, has been a great guide in a way. And collectively, we've had a very, very happy situation in India. And I pray to Bhagwan that very soon, all misgivings are given up. I think moment we have faith that Bhagwan is the doer and sacrifice is the road to way, there is no personality. There is no doership here. Nobody can claim doership. Nobody can claim authority in the Sai organization. The only doer is Bhagwan. The only authority is Bhagwan. I think these few words, we can start off whatever questions we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, brothers. Thank you very much. I will now call upon Sister Jita Mohan Ram, who I had reached out her to help with the program, but she said she will ask a couple of questions. She wanted to limit her role to that. So Sister Jita Mohan Ram, if you could say a few words and ask the questions which you had in mind or others have asked you. As you told me, you know the answers, but it's better that it comes from the panelists today. Please go ahead, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, with a small prayer to Swami saying, "Na notilo nundi palikinchu Saisha. Please stay on my tongue, O Sai, and make me speak today." I do want to say Sai Ram to Brother Rathanakar.
Sai Ram, sister. Sai Ram, sister, I think you need to adjust your camera so your face can be seen properly. Okay, much better. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Saying my prayer, I do want to say Sai Ram to Brother Rathanakar, Brother Naganand, Brother Nimish, and also to Brother Arun, and all of the Sai devotees who are present here today listening to this program. It has been my good fortune to know all of the members on this panel for a very long time. In fact, Brother Rathanakar, I don't know if you had the opportunity, but I was babysat by your grandmother, Swami's mother, Mother Ishwaramma, when I was a small child under a banyan tree. As far as Brother Naganand is concerned, I've known him for many decades. His parents were the most loving, wonderful, devoted people. I've known him for a long time. And Brother Nimish and I have worked in India for the Balavikas program in the late 70s. So I know all of you for a very long time. And I do know Dr. Reddy's family also, who has devoted themselves for a very long time in Swami's mission with a lot of devotion and dedication. So with a lot of pain, I suppose, in my heart, thinking of Swami over the years, how he would feel when two children of his would not get along together. I have come because I don't have any official position in the Sai organization. I have worked as the SSC coordinator and the vice president of the South Bethesda Sai Center, but that was some years ago. I came here today only because people know me over a number of years, because Swami commanded me in 1996 to give talks. In fact, in the regional retreat here in Maryland and all over the world. And so people have come to know him only because I speak of his glory. And for that reason, people from all over the world have sent me WhatsApp messages and emails asking me why all of this turmoil is happening. And for me, as a child who grew up completely on the sands of Prashanthi Nilayam, playing there, listening to Swami in my childhood and also in Vrindavan in Bangalore, the only message that I heard from Swami, especially as a child, was what Brother Arun started off today saying, Kalasi melisi perugudam, kalasi melisi tirugudam, kalasi melisi telusukunna telivini poshinchudam. That is what Swami used to say. Let us grow together. Let us journey the spiritual journey together. And let us learn from each other and nurture each other together. I grew up with this ringing in my ears. And in connection with this, actually, I just want to take a minute or so to talk about two things which has come up in this particular situation. One is that about unity. And in my heart of hearts, I could never imagine if we went to Swami and said, should we work unitedly? And Swami would say no to that. No, work independently. I cannot imagine Swami saying that. And the reason for that is actually when my husband was the president of the South Bethesda Sai Center, we were a large center and we wanted to include the smaller centers around us to join us for Akhanda Bhajan so that they could also participate for 24 hours, which they couldn't if they did it by themselves. And we were in Prashanthi Nilayam and Swami was talking to both of us. And my husband said to Swami that, Swami, we are thinking of asking the other centers to join us for Akhanda Bhajan, because Swami over the years had given a lot of personal guidance to our center, which is a very old center of 42 or 43 years. And Swami looked at us a little surprised and said, to work together, do you have to ask? There is nothing to ask. Anytime any opportunity comes, to work unitedly, you should take it wholeheartedly and work together as brothers and sisters. And unity is divinity, he said. And in fact, quoted this Telugu thing that we all, which I just started my little talk today with, Kalisi Malisi Perugudam. So that was one occasion when he very clearly said that whenever there is an opportunity to work together, you should take it wholeheartedly and work. And the second one was that about Prashanti Nilayam. Of course, for me, Prashanti Nilayam, I cannot imagine my life without being connected to Prashanti Nilayam in every possible way. But putting that aside, when Swami performed my son's Upanayanam in Prashanti Nilayam, at the end of the function in the interview room, they were both looking a little sad, my twin sons. And Swami said, why after such a nice function, you both have a castor oil face? And they said, we are leaving Swami in 2 days back to go back to the US. And we will be so far away from you. We want to be with you. To which Swami said, why do you feel that you are far away in America? This whole world is my home. America is 1 bedroom. England is 1 bedroom. Japan is 1 bedroom. Australia is 1 bedroom. And Brindavan is my sitting room, he said. And Prashanti Nilayam is my office, from where I work, where all the institutions are run, where all the hospitals and the colleges are run. And I work here in this office room, that is all. But I go in and out of all of the rooms that are there in my home. Andaru na valle. Everybody is mine. All of you are mine. So you should not feel that the bedroom is separate from the sitting room is separate from the office. So this again has stayed in my memory and those of my son's memories as well. So in my personal feeling, I did not feel that any kind of disconnect was possible, especially now we have all seen in COVID that everybody is working out of the home. Everybody's office is out of the home. And Prashanti Nilayam is Swami's office, so we are right there with him. So I did not feel a disconnect towards Prashanti Nilayam. So having said that though, since I'm coming on behalf of the devotees, brothers, I hope you will forgive my candidness because I have received a lot of questions for which I am not eligible to answer. I'm on the side of Swami's message and I have conveyed that as to the best of my ability all over the world. I only belong to Swami. So from that point of view, I want to ask you the first question, and this is what a lot of people have said. Has the Global Council really taken Swami's spirit to heart and worked really in that loving spirit with the SSIO to try to bridge the gap and bring understanding? And why is it that the Global Council is saying that unless you are registered with us, you will not get accommodation in Prashanti Nilayam, you will not be able to perform there, you will not be able to sing there, you will lose all sorts of privileges? This has been a repeated question. Is this in the Sai spirit when Swami says, Andaru ma valle, everybody is mine? So this is my first question. I have a second one. If you would like to answer this one first, I will wait. Sai Ram.
Okay, thank you very much, Sister Geeta. I will open it up to the panel. Any one of you would like to take that question, please.
Naganand, sir. Naganand.
Yes. Thank you, Srimati Geeta, for this very beautiful introduction which you gave in this question. You know, this misnomer has been said that if you don't join the Global Council, you will not be welcome in Prashanti Nilayam. This is completely untrue, absolutely untrue. Prashanti Nilayam is Swami's place, and so many of us have heard it. You know, whenever somebody was feeling sad to come to Prashanti Nilayam or to leave Prashanti Nilayam, Swami would say, "This is your home. Why do you feel shy to come here? There is you are as much here as at home as I am at home." That's what Swami used to tell us. So the thing is, the Central Trust has no idea, no desire, no decision to exclude anybody. All are welcome. Whether you are a member of Global Council or international organization makes no difference, zero difference. You will get your accommodation, you will be welcomed, you will be given whatever facilities every other devotee is given. But on the question of allowing people to perform in Prashanti Nilayam, in Kulwant Hall and other functions, you see there are only 365 days in the year. We have got All India organization. As Brother Nimish has pointed out, there are 28 states And in how many 500 and odd districts, people from everywhere are coming. So the number of days that are available for performance are extremely limited. In fact, in the last few years before COVID, more than 300 days we had events taking place in Sai Kulwant. So we are under great pressure. Now, when we are having a global council, now who is there in global council? All the international organizations are there. So it is like an affiliated organization. So if somebody from membership of the global council comes and says, I want to give an event, we have to give them a priority to give them that event. It doesn't mean that others are not welcome. And another thing is, you see, these are institutions. Now they're all working together. Now, if somebody, supposing I'm a sole devotee, I don't belong to any center. If I come and ask a managing trustee, sir, I want to give a talk in Sai Kulwant Hall, what should he do? He will think and he will say, there are these organizations, they are doing work, they are doing Swami's work, they come here regularly. Now I'm a first-time visitor. I go to his office and tell him, first time I've come, I like this place. I want to give a talk in Sai Kulwant Hall. What will he say? Naturally, he's going to say, sir, you need long years of dedication, devotion. Then only you're going to be allowed to speak here. And your speech must be born out of experience. The same thing, there's no such desire to exclude anybody. Let everyone be clear about it. There's no such thing. If somebody has said that they will be excluded, it's wrong. Accommodation will be given. All facilities will be given. They are most welcome and they can participate in the beautiful surroundings and programs of Prashanti Nilayam.
Okay, thank you very much, brother.
Just one second.
Yes, yes.
This question we have been answering for quite a few sessions. I have received in the past requests from international organization ask me not to allow certain groups who are Sai devotees. I think when I'm talking, the people who have asked me, they will be knowing it. Naganand sir, Nimish, see, there were some groups who are also Swami's devotees. They continue to be even now. But for some reason, they did not affiliate with SSSIO. In Middle East, there was a group in the school. We presented, we gave them a permission to present it. I would have received at least, at least 5-6 mails saying that that group should not have been allowed, and there was a lot of commotion and things like that. And in last 10 years, I can say 1 dozen examples where SSSIO has asked us not to permit certain groups. Why did we do it? They're all Swami's devotees. They're ardent devotees of Swami. They swear by Swami. They are devoted. There's no doubt about it, because they did not affiliate to SSSIO. It is they who asked us to not to permit them. Now we have created a beautiful place in called Global Council. So many countries, so many centers in international arena have already joined. They all will be performing. They all will be having this. Indian organization, those countries which are already in Global Council, those centers who are in Global Council, all of them will have a chance to do that. And Prashanti has its own calendar, its own festivals. We have, continuously around, we ourselves have, when Dasara comes, Guru Purnima, every festival, we have our own calendar. Barring that, we may have around 200 odd days, which are available for, performance. And I think Brother Naganand has already told about how much of pressure we get from here. So when SSSIO had asked us to prevent some groups because though they are Swami's devotees, but they are not affiliated, it is simple that we are also saying all those who are Global Council members, they will get the. It is not. We are not threatening. Please, Ms. Geeta Mohan Rangaru. See, this is not, we are not threatening anybody. It's just a stated position. We are saying that those who have a Global Council affiliation, they will all have the performance, and it is a stated position. We are not shying away from that. It is a stated position of Global Council that the persons who are who are affiliated to the Global Council only will have these privileges. Let it be very clear. This is that is the way it has been made, and there's no need to be having any dichotomy or talk about that. It is not a threatening posture. We are not blackmailing anybody. We are not doing anything. But only thing is, we are saying those who are affiliated to Prasanthi Nilayam, those who join Prasanthi Nilayam efforts, those who are connected to Swami, they will only get. Not that I'm not saying that others are not connected, though they are connected, but they are not affiliated. So that is our stated position. It's very clear.
Thank you very much, Brother. Thank you.
Okay.
Sister Geeta, maybe you said you had another question. I hope you can ask.
Yeah.
I think others also should. I will give chance for the others also, but I will ask.
I will be very quick.
Okay.
Thank you. And Sai Ram, Brother Rathanakar and Naganand, thank you for answering that question, because that is one question that has come to me repeatedly. The second one, even before I say it, I will ask forgiveness of Swami and all of you for again another candid question. I have grown up hearing Swami that all he wants is love and nothing to do with money. But money somehow has come into the picture. And one of the fears that people have expressed is that the Central Trust via the Global Council will control the SSIO funds, and all of the beautiful work definitely that SSIO has done for disaster relief and medical camps and so many other seva projects all over the world will be controlled by the Global Council through the Central Trust, and the monies will be stopped in terms of what we want to do in terms of seva in these international organizations in the various countries. And that money, and again, please excuse me, this is a question that has come to me, will be taken into the Indian counterpart where it will be used for political reasons. This question has come to me at least 200 times via email and WhatsApp messages. I felt that I really should not talk about money, especially in front of Swami here, and with a lot of trepidation, I have even brought up in an organization that does not even have a treasurer. So please excuse me again, but I think people have repeatedly come to think that the money used for seva in the SSIO will be taken and used in India for political purposes. I don't know why this has come up. Can you please explain that? And with that, I will say to all of you a very happy Guru Purnima, and thank you for allowing me to ask on behalf of ordinary devotees like me. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, sister. Thank you. I will open it up to the panelists. Anyone can.
Brother Naganand.
I think, you see, let me tell you that before Mahasamadhi, right from, I would say, the mid-1990s, Swami somehow gave me many, many important positions in different places, in different trusts. Till Mahasamadhi, I did not know which donor was giving how much money to Central Trust. The donor sitting next to me might have given some, $10 million, but I didn't even know his name because it was his connection with Bhagwan. It was none of my business to know. After some years, I was asked to sign the balance sheets of Medical Trust and later look into Central Trust also. At that point of time, only I came to know what is the income, what is the receipts. Till then, though I was a trustee, it was not something which I had to know. Now, you see, Swami always had a connection direct with his devotees. None of us ever received a single check or single rupee to be passed on to Bhagwan. Whenever somebody said, I want to give some money, I would say, Baba, please come. Baba is available. You sit in darshan. If you want to give, if he accepts, you please give. If he doesn't accept, you can go back. This is what has been our attitude. Now, Swami has blessed us so much, blessed Central Trust so much, and kept us so comfortable. In fact, there's nothing to hide about this. I have made this announcement succeedingly after Mahasamadhi. Every year, the balance sheet is presented during Swami's birthday. If you see those speeches, the talks that I given, in every one of them, we have given what is the income, what is the expenditure. And if you analyze that, you will find that Swami is bountifully blessed Central Trust. We don't need to depend on any money from anybody to carry on Swami's activities. If some devotee comes and gives money, he is giving to Swami, Swami receives it. That's it. Today he comes to give money, it's given to Central Trust, it's over. Now the Central Trust has no need to ask Sathya Sai International Organization or anybody else for money, first point. Second point is, If you look at the amount of money which the center, see, this Sathya Sai International Organization is not a money collecting machine. Now you are a devotee in South Bethesda. Now you feel that on some occasion you would like to give some money for Swami's charity. What would you do? If you wanted some tax relief, you would ask the local, the international organization, can I give it to your organization so that it will be passed on? Many of you say, we don't care for tax deduction, we want to give it to Swami, we come here directly, send a check or send money directly to Swami, matter ends. So who is giving it? It is the devotee who is giving to Swami. It is not the office bearers of the international organization who is giving. It is not their business to collect any money. Swami had given candid instructions, clear instructions. None of us should go and ask anybody for any money or anything else, any favors. Even in our personal life, he said, don't ask for any favor. That was how we have all been brought up. Now, in a situation like this, what is this money they're talking about? See, the amount of money that Sathya Sai International Organization has contributed, which is again devotees' money, to the Central Trust in the last 10 years, if you take, it is such a minuscule part of the total amount of money that Swami's trusts have spent on charitable activities. It doesn't even come to 2% or 3% if you take the last 10 years.
Naganand, Brother Naganand, it's if in our records I checked up when it is after Mahasamadhi, from 2011 to 2021, the total money spent by Sathya Sai Central Trust is $230 million. And whereas the international organization has contributed $2.97 million. It is just 1.2 or 1.3%. And if you want to know, in Indian money, it is around 1,420 crores, what is being spent after Mahasamadhi in last 10 years. The contribution of international organization in Indian rupees is 18 crores. So 1,420 crores, and this is just mere 18 crores. So whatever you can say the percentage. Yeah, please, Nagan.
Yeah. So I think the figures are very clear now. So it is not that Sathya Sai International.
Yeah, I think Nimish is saying something.
Please,
one more point on this issue, answering Geeta's question. All these crores of rupees which the Central Trust has spent is not spent on the government of India. Please understand, they've been spent for charitable purposes. Good work has been done. So this whole concept of money being taken from the international organization.
Yeah, and I think Naganand sir, you need to see they keep on accusing us of one thing, that you know the 5 crores which we gave to PM Cares and 5 crores which we are given to Chief Minister Relief Fund. See, somebody is saying we have given to Narendra Modi or we have given to Jagan Mohan Reddy. I think you need to clarify what is it. It is not or it is we have given to BJP or it is given to a political party. I think absolutely a lack of understanding which they have. I think Ms. Naganand and Nimish Pandya can chip in.
Yes.
Yeah. I think, let me clarify this. See, when the India hit by COVID, there was an effort made by the government to raise money for resource for many relief activities. It was very severe position. And in that situation, all of us contributed. Many of us contributed personally. So when the issue came before the trust, we thought about it. We said, let us make a token contribution. And the entire Central Trust trustees unanimously decided that this donation must be made to this charitable trust called PM Cares. That money does not belong to Prime Minister. It is not a BJP. It is not a party-related issue. The Supreme Court has said that that's a trust which is doing work. Number of things have happened. So we are given that money. Now in Anantapur district, there was a severe COVID issue. So they came to us and said, sir, we want to use your hospital and some facilities. Can you please provide? So all these facilities are provided. Number of items are spent on, equipping that hospital. Government also gave some equipment for all that. And this facility was set up. And for Anantapur district itself, there was a request made to say that, we are in dire need of something. Can you please give us some financial assistance for this? So if the trust decided that this is a government-based requirement for COVID relief, and if some small money is given to them, does it mean that we are given money for political contributions? It's a completely wrong interpretation.
And Naganand, all Indian trusts and institutions and corporates came together to support the government of the state and the country to come together and contribute money for this unimaginable pandemic that is affected. And let us not forget, if India needed it the most in the times when we had to do this, because The need was so tremendous, and it was the right cause to give it. And going, excuse me, getting into the PM Cares Fund, as Naganand mentions, is a national fund. It is not a party's fund. It's a national fund. And therefore, giving it there was the prime duty of every institution, every citizen of this country who did it. And this is not, and you can't appropriate 5 crores of rupees as if it's brought from America and paid to the PM's fund. That's ridiculous. And the second point I want to make, and Geeta, you must share this with everybody, and whoever is listening must understand this. It is very atrocious on the part of any Sai devotee to presume that 9 members of the biggest trust in the country of India, the Sathya Sai Central Trust, is one of the biggest trusts. Excellent people on the board. Retired Supreme Court Justice Mishra, Mr. Kelkar, who's been the economic advisor to the government of India, Dr. Mohan, who is the Padma Shri awarded, internationally recognized now, Mr. Naganand, who's one of the senior most counsels in the judicial system of India, Mr. Bhagwat, and Mr. Chakravarti himself, and Mr. Rathanakar. Rathanakar is like a baby amongst all these people. It is God. He has this unique privilege of being the youngest member, and I want to make a point on that also. To presume that all these people are dummies and have no intelligence or have no integrity, when each one of them has been handpicked by Bhagwan, is the most atrocious thing that any person who makes this allegation will have to answer his conscience and answer his God when the last moment comes. It is very atrocious. I mean, you are insulting everybody else when you make such kind of allegations which are so baseless and without any point. Therefore, I think this point must be put to rest at all time, that in India, we are not all thieves here sitting together. We are Bhagwan's devotees. With integrity, we sit here. And let me tell you, the Indian organization and the Central Trust has been working single. So what do? If we collect money, if we need help, we go to the Central Trust. And in India, you must understand, every state has a foundation. Every state has a foundation, and we have a dedicated, designated financial policy drawn out of the discourses of Bhagwan, where the Sathya Sai organization doesn't touch money, and we do not even ask for money. We do not even say for money. In fact, one of the allegations against me was that I refused the help that the international organization SSIO was giving. Why should I ask anybody? In fact, I wrote to him. I never refused it. I told them that I will ask for it if I need it. Today, I have my own people in India have generated, every small devotee has generated from simple money, so much money and with so much effort has gone into, and that's the way Swami wanted. Swami wanted to do seva by people who sacrifice their own money and come forward and do. And that's the situation. Therefore, this impression that the international organization money is going to be rooted for the benefit of India or the benefit of the Indian organization, I think is the most ridiculous thing to do.
Also, thank you very much.
Also, just on a lighter note, all the donors have congratulated us for that. It is non-donors who are making noise. People have never contributed. People, I don't know what they have contributed. They are making more noise. In fact, a lot of big donors have called me and said, you have done the right thing, because that was the right thing to do. See, the PM, when myself and Nimish was invited for a chat with the Prime Minister, Mr. Nimish, you remember when all the top organizations were there, all of them, they all said we stand shoulder to shoulder, we all contribute. Many of them have contributed much more. So whatever we could think, whatever, even in the state, we wanted to do it in our place. So we also have gone and contributed. It is not for any of the personal gains or any of the political parties. Will please be very clear. And donors are congratulated us. Many of the top donors have called and said, Rathanakar, that's the right thing you have done, and we are very happy. So I don't know why this thing again and again they are coming. It's a false narrative. A false narrative. Please, I think we should.
Yeah, I think let's not make this a fight between the dollar and the Indian rupee. The Indian rupee is more spiritual than the American dollar in that sense. Please, let us be very clear about it.
Thank you very much, brothers. I feel very bad. I know Brother Rathanakar is a family member of Swami's, and he's put in a very difficult position to have to answer such.
No, he's just become a punching bag for the whole world for no rhyme or reason.
I do apologize, Brother Rathanakar, but this needed to be said. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much.
So much. And we never shy away from anything. You see, we have no agenda. We are very free to. There's no problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sister Geeta, for taking time to answer the questions. I thought it will be nice that at least she answers to ask the question, because she's from, as Brother Rathanakar said, she's from the South Bethesda Center, which is one of the oldest centers in US, and they have also gone through evaluating all the pieces of information available. And I'm sure she was part of the panels which we discussed, and I'm sure they also had difficult questions to deal with. But thank you very much. So now we will go to the member attendees have questions. There are 45 questions. I will have to sort of summarize them and ask to the best of my ability. So we touch all the topics there. So the thing is, if I go through each 45, I don't think we will end in the next 8 hours. So I think there's a theme which is developing is, I think I will say there are differences between the SSIO and the Central Trust in coming to an agreement. There is some lack of unity. Is there no room for unity? Is everything stopped? Is a question we're asking. Why you all did not set the right example by uniting and working? I understand that Indian organization and Central Trust does not have any issues, but why is there issue with SSIO, and how can we, is there a way to, is it an impasse which we cannot cross? What can be done? It's a theme, at least about 6 questions are there on that topic. So I thought I will ask you that, please.
Yeah, I think I should give you a little background before we come to the answer to this. You see, as I said, a few days before the last birthday of Swami, I discussed with Dr. Reddy and told him this is what is in the anvil. Just announcement was made and a draft of the document was sent to him. Now, I've already mentioned in my opening remarks how that draft went about with it and all the acrimony that they created out of it. But at the fag end of it, when everything was agreed, we finally sent them a draft which was more or less on exactly the same lines which they had sent, with just a few changes. The written word cannot be confusing. It is very clear as to who is going to run this global council is the executive committees. And who are there in the executive committees? It is the international people who are there in the executive committee 1, the national people in the executive committee 2. International chair is there and national chair is there in each of the committees. Now it is they who will decide. And in this, Prashanti Council members are also members. So where is the question of somebody saying that someone is controlling? If you just read the document, it becomes very clear. Now, if somebody reads the document and does not understand it, does not want to understand it, it's not very complicated language. It's very clear and very plain. Still they say, no, you're now trying to control us. Who is you? There is no you and me here. It's all we. Global Council is we. Who are they we in that? Central Trust is there, international organization is there, and national organization is there. We're all sitting together for one purpose. And if the executive committee, which has the international chair and all other of the zonal chairs, everybody takes a decision about appointing some office. I mean, and why is this appointment of office bearer so important? Anyway, I don't understand that. But anyway, even if it is important, they take the decision. So where is Central Trust controlling? So if this is very clear in paper, but they don't want to understand it, what do we do then? We told them the matter is very clear. It was explained to them orally. The document was shared with them. Brother Rathanakar took a 2.5 hour meeting. He and Nimish Bhai had 2.5 hour meeting with Dr. Reddy. Still, he says, I have to discuss with somebody and we'll think about it. My team doesn't agree. And then says, no, we are not agreeable. So what is it that we can do now? We have put everything clear, absolutely black and white. 3 members out of 30 is not majority. So if they don't want to see it, then what do we do? So we then said, well, see, this is what we think is in the best interest of all the organization. If you still feel very strongly that you don't want to be, what can I do about it? I have accepted all your suggestions. The entire draft was accepted. But still they say, no, you are controlling. When we are not controlling, then what to do? That is the situation. So it is not as though the managing trustee rejected their proposal. That is how they put everywhere in all their mails. In fact, they rejected our draft. The final draft as amended was sent to them. They said, we are not agreeable for this. Then how do they say that we rejected it? It's completely wrong.
So For scope for unity, you are saying, it is exactly what Brother Naganand just now said. See, they never have come clean on this. Even I can tell you let me be very candid, because having come, everybody should know. Even on the day when after joint statement was given, very senior office bearers, even the second day or third day, I think, I had to see, somebody said about West Indies Zoom call. There's a gentleman, I think his name is Tiwari. See, they were saying they have been told from the top, saying that this is just for a time being, we'll go along. Otherwise, after that, we are not going to join. This is, somebody from West Indies told me this, that the second or third day of signing the joint statement. Now, you are never sincere about all the process of this. Now, where do you never want to unite? In fact, somebody from Malaysia have told some of our alumni that this joint statement is only just for a pause, and it is just a small tea break kind of a thing, and it's not going to happen. In Italy, the National Council President, before even official announcement by SSSIO comes in, they have circulated saying that the talks have failed and we wait for a standby for announcement from World Foundation, before even formally announced by the SSSIO. So we have been watching. Just don't think all the devotees, all the office bearers also in touch. The second day of your signing the joint statement, you are saying this, that we have just signed, we're just going along, and no, we are not going to join. I don't know, some senior officer from US National Council also said this. So they should answer their own conscience. What they were doing? Here is, see, I'll tell you what. See, you can all see this. This is the registration form, column by column, filled by Dr. Narendra Reddy and whoever helped him. Sathya Sai International Organization. Did we, you have consciously come into this. It's not just when somebody made a signature when he was looking somewhere, somebody put a white paper and got signature. This is a form, you need to go and register it. It says very clearly, Sri Sathya Sai International Organization, name Dr. Narendra Reddy, email nreddy@satyasai.org. Chair, what is the current role? Chairman SSSIO. It's very clearly, it's every column by column it has been, it's it was done on 2/2 June. So you think, where did we come in and we say, this is, then where is the question of again going back on this? So I think we have not done anything. We tried our best. We have tried our best. And if that is the will of, we have said very clearly, we have taken that as a will of Swami. We just taken that as only will of Swami. We all discussed, what do we do? How do we go forward? So we pray to Swami and we only get guided by him. Okay, Nimish.
Rathanakar, I think we must also reiterate one more point on this question of not being able to come together. I think the main substratum of the joint statement was that the structure of the two organizations will not be disturbed. And if you see the final document, and that's for the benefit of all our listeners today, that the final document, the structure of the two organizations is not touched. For example, if I'm operating in India as the All India President, all my states and below the administrative system, which is set as the below me, is untouched by the Global Council. Similarly, I think Brother Naganand also was at pains at last occasion to explain that the functioning of the centers in the world, the functioning of the work is still completely operational under the international chairman. The only difference, you see, and that slight difference is bound to come because when you merge things together, at the top level, a correction is always happening because when you merge three institutions together at the top level, and the only thing which was underlined was that the appointment of the zone chairs and the international chairman and the appointment of the All India President would be done by the Global Council under the signature of the chairman of the executive committee. But who's going to select this? This selection is by the very people who represent the world. It is not Rathanakar or Naganand or Chakravarti who's going to say that A should be the chairman or B should be the chairman. That's not the proposition. And therefore, at the issue which arose is only at the top level. And the problem lies with only a few people, not with the entire world or the body of devotees. In fact, after the Global Council comes into force, nothing changes at the ground level. Nothing changes at the country level. It is only the top echelons that need, and that is necessary in my opinion, because today when Nimish Pandya is there and Dr. Reddy is there, after Dr. Reddy and after Nimish Pandya, the appointment has to be by a consultative body which is representing the organization. It is the world organization that should come together and say, this is the man I want as the international chairman. The Indian states must come together and say, the National Council, that this is the man I want as the national president. Now, it can't be a body of 4 people who decide that the next international chairman or the next All India president can't be a decision of 4 people. As we go further in the next decade, in the next generation, it has to be a collective decision. And this is the only positive change which is arisen out a sense of unity without disturbing the entire organizational level at the 2 international. Therefore, that has to be understood, because the argument will be that no, the substratum was that we will not disturb the structure of the organization. My answer is, if we have not disturbed the structure of the organization, we have only tweaked out of necessity of unity, of coming together, the appointments of the 2 key posts in the world, as far as the Sai organization is concerned, and that also is not by Brother Rathanakar. It is not by Chakravarti. It is not by Naganand. It is by the collective body that represents the Global Council and the Executive Committee. This point must be strictly underlined for people who want to appreciate this, the essence and the spirit behind this whole system. Therefore, if there is an objection and there is a problem, it can be only at the level of Mr. Reddy and myself. It can't be at any other level. Nobody can have a case against this proposition at all.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, brothers. Is there? I think we can go to the next question. There are quite a few themes which are developing. See, one of the themes which is developing is about the supervision, the term supervision. Will Central Trust appoint members, presidents in centers, regions, and things like that? You know, it is a confusion. There is a confusion between Global Council and Central Trust, what their roles are, and who appoints whom, and also over the supervision topic. I thought I will just club them all together. So if you all can address that, that will help. But that's another theme which is developing. There are 53 questions. I am going through the questions and I'm just trying to distill certain themes so you can just address them. Sai Ram.
See, the appointments process is very clearly laid down in the document. If somebody who reads it, it'll make it very clear. The Executive Committee one for the international, I've already described the composition of it. If some new office bearer is to be appointed or somebody resigns and someone has to be replaced and things like that, it is the decision of that executive committee which will take the decision. How it will take the decision, we have suggested that they will have an appointments committee, and the appointments committee will look into the credentials, and based on that, the entire executive committee will decide that in place of Mr. A or Ms. A, someone else is to be appointed. Once that recommendation goes, it is going to be up to the level of the zonal chairs. The zonal chairs themselves are going to do it. Above the zonal chair level, the appointment, somebody has to issue a letter of appointment for that. So who will issue that letter of appointment? It is provided that the chairman of the Global Council is going to issue it. So the chairman of the Global Council is a formal issuing authority. It is not that he decides. When the executive committee decides and recommends a name, the chairman cannot say, I am not going to appoint him. There's no such power given to him. The chairman is a formal, it's like in India, many constitutional positions. An appointment is made by the government and the formal order is signed by the president of India or the governor of the state. That is how the communication goes, saying that you are appointed as so-and-so. That is all the limited role that is there. So far as the chairman of the international organization and the chairman of the national organization is concerned, these 2 decisions also will be made by the executive committees respectively. And the appointment letter is going to be given by the chairman of the Global Trust, who is a member of the Central Trust. That is all that is going to happen. The central trust, because the person who's going to be the chairman, I think you already know that a decision has been taken to request Mr. Chakravarti to be the chair of the Global Council. He is also one of the trustees of the Central Trust. So he is going to be sitting as chairman here. He is going to be issuing that letter to these two top functionaries in these two Sai organizations, international and India. It is not as though Mr. Chakravarti decides it in his individual capacity. See, Swami was there. Swami would decide, saying you appoint so and so. Then Mr. Chakravarti as secretary would say, Bhagwan has been pleased to appoint you and I am communicating this to you. So that was Bhagwan's decision. Now this is a decision of the committee. And who are there in the committee? It is only all the office bearers, including Prashanti Council members.
Mr. Naganand, even now, even when we say Central Trust will issue appointment, that is going to be the wording. It's a executive committee. One has pleased to appoint, recommended your name, and this is what we are only issuing. So executive committee 2 has recommended your name, and you are going to be appointed as a national president. This is how it is. See, I think there is no need for unnecessarily they are blowing out of proportion, and this supervision. Again, they are going say Rathanakar is going to supervise, and Rathanakar wants control.
No, Rathanakar, I must share one incident with all the people listening here. One distinction I want to reiterate ad nauseum again, just to fortify what Brother Naganand mentioned. The question was, are we going to supervise all the center presidents and center appointments? The answer is a categoric no. Below the level of the international chairman and the national president and the zonal chair, all appointments are by the international chairman on his side and the national president on this side. It's only about the area which Mr. Naganand sort of earmark is that's where the collective decision of the council comes. And secondly, supervision. I just had a chat I was chatting with Samuel Sandweiss just 2 days ago, and he had underlined this word supervision. And therefore, as Brother Rathanakar mentioned, who's supervising who? It is not the central trust which is supervising. It is the collective body of our own people. We are supervising ourselves. And the supervision is it is only the prejudiced mind which is not able to accept that it is we who's having a problem with this word supervision. When all of us are together, obviously all of us are collectively coming and supervising ourselves. And supervising what? Just to see that we are not going wrong on Swami's mandate. That's all about the supervision.
Exactly, Nimish bhai. Nobody is going to stand with a stick like a school children and say, we are supervising you. It's absolutely, I don't know why. Means, you see, it's a non-issue. They don't have a credible narrative which they can talk. So it's a non-issue they are bringing up. And just to distract the whole thing, it is supervising by whom? And they keep on saying Rathanakar wants control. Rathanakar is going to, how? Today, just can I take 1 minute or no?
Okay, yeah, please go ahead. Because I think this, this is one of the key thorn in the side of many people. Okay, so.
They are saying control. Who is controlling today? Believe me, SSSIO is being controlled by them, not by us. You are telling the word control doesn't exist in either in Sathya Sai Organization India nor in Central Trust. It's only there. It's a projection of their mind. Today, for example, in New York Flushing Center, you know what happened? Sai Kishore, Amit, they have been summarily dismissed just because they want to associate with Prashant Nilayam. Who has given you authority? Are they not children of Swami? What is the sin they have committed? They're only wanting to associate with Prashant Nilayam and you summarily dismiss. And I do not know. I was very pained because that regional chair, they say, Chitturi or somebody, he says Rathanakar is a bad guy. How do you know? Have you met me anytime? What is this narrative you are doing? Please, who is controlling? They have been called, Fairfax Center, presidents have been threatened that we will be removing, we will be terminating you. Are we devotees? Are we in spiritual organization or political organization? You are accusing us of political affiliations. See, please, for God's sake, you rethink. I saw one of the Dr. Reddy's letters. It very clearly says, I think somewhere here, it says, SSIO officers and members not to engage in communication, entertain any request from to join Global Council, especially from SSCT or their representative. You are reading out, right? What is this? Who is now controlling? Are we controlling? Have you ever seen such a directive from either Nimish Pandya or Central Trust? You are saying don't communicate. Have you purchased these people? Are we salaried employees of anybody? It's a voluntary organization. Anybody can walk out. Anybody has every, they're all, we say unity, divine command, love, integrity, reverence, gratitude. What are we doing? Where is that? And where is it's a speech is only for mics. The people have, dedicated their lives and their work here. And just because you don't, they don't toe your line, you fire them. See, these aberrations will be curtailed in Global Council. It is not that, and let me also tell you, Rathanakar is not a member of Global Council. I have enough on my platter. I have enough, my hands are full in Central Trust. So it is you, Ms. Nimish Pandya is very clear about it. Brother Nimish, see, he is very clearly as told, he is the executive committee. He is the one who is calling the shots. Even if you see the document, even in the SSIO, he is the one who is calling the shots. So where is the question?
Understand. And plus, Rathanakar, in this entire great, beautiful platform that Bhagavan has created for us of the organization, what are we supervising? Please understand that the three wings of the organization, the spiritual wing, the education wing, and the service wing, is so clearly defined by Bhagavan in his discourses that it requires nobody to add or subtract to it anything. It is just that, you mean to say somebody who wants to do bhajan requires the permission of any authority to start a bhajan? Or does he require any supervision of what he knows how to sing the bhajan, he will do it. To service as a spirit for mankind, do you need supervision for that? No, we don't need supervision for that. That is not the supervision looking for. And do you think the devotees of the world need office bearers to supervise upon them? I'm sorry to say, we are instead of aligning with Bhagavan, we are aligning with individuals, which is the saddest part of spiritual message of Bhagavan being misinterpreted. How are we aligned to human beings? We're all aligned to Bhagavan. And Bhagavan has clearly earmarked how to do bhajans, how to do Nagar Sankirtan, how to do study circle, how to do Bal Vikas, how to do SSC, how to serve, when to serve, unconditionally, without doership. These are all principles so beautifully laid down by Bhagavan that there is no debate on this. Each one follows. And I tell you, I'm fully convinced that devotees of the world do not need office bearers who are autocratic, because these people have no relevance in the entire spiritual domain of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. We have to sacrifice. Every leader is bound to sacrifice his personal ego and join the unity. Let us not quote sections and rules and discourses as Brother Naganand and myself as lawyers, we quote judgments. That's not the spiritual path. There is only the overriding directive of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba is sacrifice your ego, sacrifice yourself, come together in unity. Even if you disagree, join the majority. And that's what the whole system is. And that is the true spirituality that we need to understand.
Okay, brother, thank you. I think you all have amply answered, and there are other Zoom meetings where you have expressed this. I will just go to another theme which I'm seeing is there may be devotees concerned that maybe their central leaders are not registering with Global Council, and they may lose out on everything. So will this be open after Guru Purnima for them to join Global Council? It's a burning question in many hearts of devotees who may be in centers who are not registering, and they feel because of their leader's decision, they're going to lose out. Can you tell what is in store for them after Guru Purnima? Is there a deadline, and will the door is completely shut? I think that you need to put that to rest.
Just let me just say one word and see, this link registration will close on 23rd evening. It's not that. Let's see if it needs to be after that. Why do you need 8 months? We have 8 months we have been discussing. Do devotees or center presidents or office bearers? Office bearers also, see, one thing it should be clear. In 1976, in one of the discourses, one of the interviews Swami has said, somebody asked him, who runs your organization after you? In those days, I think, 50th birthday, Nimish Bhai, you're there? Swami's, there was one interview, I think, Blitz, he asked Swami, who will run the organization after you? He didn't say my relatives, my students, my trustees or XYZ. He said my devotees. So you need to be devoted. First and foremost precondition for you to be serving is devotees. You should be devotees. So even an office bearer should be a devotee. Even if I am here, I should be a devotee. Anybody on this, anybody on the trust, any student also, any alumni, everybody should be a devotee first. That is what Swami expected. He didn't specify these people are going to do. He said, my devotees. All of them are also devotees. So please, I don't think why you need so much time to connect to Prashanthi Nilayam. 7-8 months. I don't know how Swami must be feeling, that, he needs to also rethink how to connect with you later. Sorry, I'm not, again, don't say Rathanakar blackmailed me. I'm just saying as a devotee. Naganand sir.
Arun, is this a question? I mean, associating with Prashant Nilayam, is it even an answer which should take a millionth of a second to answer? I mean,
absolutely.
What is this? I don't understand.
No, I would look at it like this. I would say that, many times we have to take some difficult decisions in life, which means you have to think a lot. You have to see the pros and cons and everything. But if the decision is such a simple decision, there is you're trying to cross a river. Somebody says you swim across the river. And another person says, there is a footbridge. You can take that footbridge and go across the river. You will take 6 months to decide. Or you will say, footbridge is there, I'm going to walk across the bridge. The decision is easy. It's not difficult. If it is a difficult decision which involves so many things, then all these problems arise. After all, if somebody who reads, another thing, is I would probably, use a little harsh expression, say mischievous. The mischievous is what exactly has happened. The international organization is not conveying to the Sai centers. They put a ban, don't talk to central trusts. Don't talk to any office bearers. And they are not telling them. All these things about Rathanakar being controlling interest, he is not a good person, he is this, he is that, political, all these things narratives are being given. If anybody reads the document that we have circulated to them, we didn't want to circulate it directly because the discussion is taking place at the apex level. Central Trust and SSSIO, their office bearers, the 3-man committee, everything. They have not told you the truth. And they have gone on saying we are controlling. If you read the document, it says there's no control. So I think, in my mind, if I was holding any position in any Sai center, I would say, well, Sai International Organization doesn't want to join, but I want to be connected with Bhagwan and I want to be connected with Prashanthi Nilayam. Do we center members want to be going to Prashanthi Nilayam and we would like to be associated with Bhagwan's institution? Let us join. That's all there is. Why are you worried so much about control, this, that, and all? I think, it's a very easy and a simple decision.
But we must understand, Naganand, that we've amply clarified there is no control. There is no central trust role. It is a collective decision. Let this be repeated ad nauseum, Arun. Let this be repeated to the people's minds and psyches that this is a misinformation which is spread, which doesn't exist. And that must be underlined by all good thinking devotees all over the world, because it's the devotees whose mind should be clear. And I think we should appeal to every devotee that don't get carried away by leaders. Look at the principle that Swami has led. Every devotee is an important person. Every Sai center is the main. What are we doing as a national chairman, as a national president of India? How can I take credit for the hard work at the grassroots level that every Samiti member, every Sevadal worker, every bhajan singer, every Balvikar, what right do I have to disturb their peace? On the contrary, I should be touching their feet that because of you, I'm enjoying the bliss and the grace of Bhagwan to lead the nation. It is because of your effort that I'm able to. And I'm only like a cowherd who's just watching that the cows are all going in the right direction. But the cowherd cannot become greater than the cows. It cannot be. It never happens.
Okay, thank you very much, brother. I think we have just overshot our 1.5 hour mark. I think,
Arno, whatever it is, let it be. If you don't mind 10-15 minutes or half an hour, let us clear it out.
Okay, thank you very much. So, because I'm trying to cover themes here, actually. So there is a question about the composition of the organization is predominantly older people and, men and things like that. There is a question. And where is the role for younger people?
Yes,
People feel
very
that
good
there should be
question.
younger
I'm
voice.
so happy you
That's the
asked
theme
that.
I'm seeing. So I would like you all to address that as well, Sarah.
That is the very reason you must appreciate Mr. Rathanakar as the youngest member, the youth who leads the Sathya Sai Central Trust. It is by example which is happening. And I think that the very few people who have an anti-Rathanakar narrative, they must understand that one of the first 9 points of code of conduct is not to criticize people behind their backs. And if you have a question, face him. That's the whole point. That's the worst situation. And secondly, Anand, I want to say one thing. And I'm so happy it is the alumni who's organized this webinar. It is the dream, it was Bhagwan's wish, and it is the current dispensation also thinks that by the time we come to the centenary celebrations, the world organization, which includes India, must be at the helm of these organizations. It should be the youth of this world, Sai devotee, especially alumni, must come forward and take the helm. Let me tell you, in India, 4 state presidents are alumni of Sathya Sai organization. 2 state presidents are alumni of the Bal Vikas organization. We have a robust 4,500 young office bearers, men and women in the country who are now being groomed to take over the organization. Therefore, the role of the youth in the Sathya Sai organization is unmistakably, undeniably the paramount agenda as we go towards the centenary celebration. I can say this on behalf of India with great clarity and without any hesitation.
Okay. Yes, sir. Anyone else has something to say?
Just,
Or
just one brief comment.
Okay.
Now, in the international organization also, you see, the formation of the Global Council has really nothing to do with this involvement of the youth. Now, we all recognize that younger people should be given important positions. This can happen whether it is under Global Council or it can happen under the Sathya Sai International Organization. It makes no difference, because if so long as the leaders decide and they appreciate that the need for younger people to be given important positions, the matter becomes clear. And the decision-making process is of the executive committee itself. So I don't see anything like in India, it has happened that cross-pollination of ideas which Nimish Bhai has implemented in India will percolate to the international organization also if they all sit together and discuss it. That's all that will happen.
Okay, so then there is another theme.
I don't know. Definitely, see, younger people are being encouraged in all the states and all the districts. There's no doubt about it. In fact, we have a plan. When we want to have an all young adults and Indian youth, all of them together. We will have even in 100,000 of them. We'll have a youth festival in Prashant Nilayam for centenary celebrations. We have some plans about it. Definitely, we want to bring. Because see, the baton is to be handed over to the next persons. See, this Sai mission will go on. It's like a Ganges; it keeps flowing. So we need to train younger people. We need to get more and more younger people to ensure the continuity. It will happen definitely.
Okay. Thank you very much. So there's another concern. It may be not well. People have not understood or read the composition of the Global Council. There is a theme that Indians are trying to control the world. Why are they, do they know how to run the international organization? Things like that. So I think I would like you all to address that as well. And there are also concerns, then we will not be able to sing in the languages of our own nation, our own style of praying to Swami. Will all this be stopped? That is also another fear. People think, you'll exclude anything non-Indian. Okay,
I don't know. See, if Spanish people are singing in Spanish bhajan, how do we go there and say don't sing like this? If Chinese people are singing, I think it's just some narrative is going on. They're just trying to fill the fear into people. No, it's not so. Nothing will be. See, their relation with Swami is theirs. It's between Swami and them. How they want to connect. Why will we decide? And one important thing, please, I must clarify this. Indians are controlling. What is that? You said it's not so. Swami was born in India. Please remember that. The whole mission is started in India, and avatars repeatedly have come in India. Swami said avatars have come. The Swami has answered beautifully so many times that why many avatars and great masters have come in India. Swami has very clearly said, he gives a train example where, a driver doesn't sit in a compartment, but he sits in an engine room. So here, a lot of people have, for historically, for some spiritual reason, the Godheads have chosen this place, and Swami himself as an avatar has come. All the trio of avatars, Shirdi, here, next Prema Sai, all of them have said in Indian continent. And nobody has any problem in India. See, even Narendra Reddy is an Indian only, right? Last 10 years, why are they getting this question now? Mr. Dr. Narendra Reddy is he's from India only. He's from our neighboring district. So I think, it's why that question is coming up now.
Okay.
It's not like that. All are Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
No. Did they question Bhagwan, and Bhagwan said that India is a spiritual engine of the world? Why did we not question Bhagwan? Did we tell Bhagwan, why are you talking like that?
No, it is not. I think, it's just to create division. They talk like that. In all our see, if Russia, how can Indian head the Russian organization? There will be Russians only, right? The Russian side devotees only will head this. Everywhere, all of them will continue to head, continue to be part of that. They will run their own centers. None of us will interfere into centers. We are only, sort of facilitators in this, and we means the institution. Don't say again Rathanakar, Naganand, Nimish. No, it's a continuous thing. It's an institution. Okay, please.
Okay, thank you. So I think another quick question is why now is a question which people have asked, COVID and things like that. So I thought just briefly I think you have touched upon that in other places as well. Why now, and why centenary celebration is cited and things like that. Also, if you can address that, that will be helpful. I don't know, it's a repetition for many of you, most of you, but I will go, please.
Yeah, Naganand sir.
Yeah, I would like to just say, you see, there's a famous cricket coach, Hemu Adhikari. He played a few matches for India, and thereafter he decided not to continue playing. So in the good old days, I knew him, I met him, and I asked him, sir, why did you, quit playing? He said, Naganand, it's always better to quit when people ask why, rather than when they ask why not. No, that is the answer. Now you see, 10 years have gone by after Mahasamadhi. Now Swami himself, did lot of organizational changes in the last few years of the avatar. He merged so many things. He changed office bearers. He changed the way of functioning of some of the trusts. He separated some activity and made it into separate. Everything was done directly by Bhagwan's guidance. Now, if they look at Swami's words, he says there must be some central theme to the whole thing. It should be out of Prashanti Nilayam. Now, for 10 years, we have not done it. Now, if at this time, all the trustees and the National All India Organization, they all have one view, that let us all come together, let us form this body. And this body is not going to change the way any one of us is functioning. Central Trust, the way it functions won't be changed. All India Organization not changed, international not to be changed. So we're going to come together. What has that got to do with pandemic? You see, in pandemic, you can have Zoom meetings. You can have 6 hours of meeting a day. I am attending 3 courts in one place, sitting in my office every day. Different cities I am attending. You can have all that.
Ms. Naganand, the SSSIO have been most alive in last 6 months, bashing us.
Correct. So number of meetings they have held. Everything is possible. And, initially, Dr. Reddy, I'm surprised. He said, no, I will come. We will come face to face and we'll meet and we'll discuss. This is what he has written. When he knows that he can't come face to face for, we don't know, 6 months, 1 year, now 1.5 years have gone by, then what was it that they were trying to do? They wanted to stall it. Now also they stalled it. 6 months they stalled it, they discussed again. Then they went back and now they're saying something else. So what I'm saying is, Indina dinave shubhadinavu, Indu Purandara Vittalana namake nenare. That means this moment is the most auspicious moment if you want to do any good thing. Therefore, the Central Trust and all of us decided we should come together. That's all. There's nothing wrong with it.
And nobody has stopped their works in COVID. What is it? Everybody is doing their works. Everybody is doing working from home. Everything is happening. How can you pause institutions for 2 years and don't do anything? So it's just develop. Everybody is doing. I think all of you are attending your works from work from home. So we need to, it's a continuous process. There's nothing we have disturbed. In fact, they'll say I'm blaming, but it is they who have gone to the town and disturbed everybody. In fact, in one of the meetings where myself, Nimish Pandya and Dr. Narendra Reddy were there, I asked him, see, how did you manage to get 130 letters written against Central Trust? Because I said, I can't get 10 letters. I think Nimish Pandya cannot also do that. Because our people will never say, they will say, how can we write against Sathya Sai institutions? So I asked him, how these guys, you are able to motivate them to write? I very jokingly asked him. Nimish Bhai said, I asked Nimish Bhai, can you get some 10 letters? He said, I would never ask somebody to do that. Nimish.
Definitely not. I mean, I have to face my master. As I always say, Anand, I want all of us to remind ourselves, including myself, that when we die, we want to see Swami's face. When we die, we don't want to see Dr. Reddy's face, Nimish Pandya's face, Rathanakar's face, Arun's face. We don't want to see these faces. We want to see Swami's face when we die. That's why we are all here. And therefore, I don't think this mudslinging is a good idea. It is anti-Swami's philosophy, and I think we should just stop doing that. And I think Rathanakar has been, the Central Trust in this response has been very fair at the end of it, say that the doors are always open and there is no question of shutting doors to anybody, because love cannot shut.
Nimish Bhai, in fact, only Nimish Bhai is privy to that, and I had written to Dr. Narendra in a very nicely one letter. I think Mr. Nimish, I had copied to you.
Yes, and that's exactly what I'm referring to. I mean,
very pleadingly, very nicely. I had written. Maybe I can share with you or no sometime.
Okay, so I think thanks. The questions will actually, we are just 10 minutes to 2 hours, so I think we have exhausted a lot of time. See, the questions will be there as long as human beings exist. The doubts will always come. As Swami says, the day the doubts and the questions stop, we have reached the Lord. So I think we can't go on and on forever. So what I will ask you all to do is just some final, just take 1 minute each, very short message, whatever you want to say, whatever you have not covered so far, please take time to share.
Any questions? Maybe if 1 or 2 questions, we'll finish it, because again, we can't be coming.
Okay, so I understand that. I'm sorry you had to repeat many things. I have more or less covered the themes which I have been watching in the question and answers. Then there are some questions. There are people who are basically making comments rather than questions. But I would say, there is one center, President called and asked, brother, this is a question I asked. I don't know where to ask. So I said, I don't think I can ask at the meeting. So I don't know if you permit me, I will ask you. I don't want to put you on the spot.
Let us finish.
Because he said, we are a center, none of us have gone to Swami and none of our members have seen. We see people, parading, Swami gave lingam, we are praying to that, Swami gave me this ring. Many people say Swami has given robes and things like that to people, and they have it in their centers. In our center, we don't have a robe. They are talking about connecting to Prashanta Nilayam. Our center members may not be able to go to Prashanta Nilayam. So what is our lot? Can we, is there so I thought, it's, people feel they are distant and they will never again get the chance to connect to Swami. Can Central Trust or, Global Council do something to make them connect to Swami? So I will ask you, because one is Global Council, but there is an individual devotee and centers have some connection and they would like to strengthen that. And what are you all doing? Are we just fighting, about positions, or is there something you all can do? I thought I would just ask you. I don't want to put you on the spot. You don't have to answer, but I thought I would just share that.
No problem. I think, it's a very, very lovely feeling that, they want to have something of Swami. And I think Ms. Naganand is there, Nimish is there. Definitely, all the Global Council centers, wherever they are, if they don't have Swami's robe, we had in fact in India, we had done it some time back for all the centers. Even internationally, we had done some centers. If any center that is in a Global Council, definitely we will be very happy to I can't say I'm nobody, but it is a Swami. We can hand over the Swami's blessings. Definitely, we will do that. Let me also tell you, all of us, see, the faith and the love they have for Swami, they are coming and associating with Prashant Nilayam. Prashant Nilayam is our fathers, our mother, divine father, divine mother. Everything is ours. So please feel free. All of us have, all of you have, it is your home. And whatever is our divine father has bestowed on us, it belongs to all of us. Definitely, we will, if we let us say as in future, we will take account and see what are the global council centers in international area where they don't have. Definitely, we will do. In fact, we have certain plans also, even in zonal level, different zones, 9 zones, 10 zones, 11 zones. We'll identify in the future the center for a zone center. We will even maybe we will plan and send or give one Swami's throne to be there, so that where Swami sat into each zone, so that people go there and you can have retreat, you can have your training camps, whatever. We'll see if there is a more infrastructure to be added to that. We will try and see. We have certain plan. So definitely, we will send, we'll ship the Swami's chair and to be put in the global council, 9 zones, 10 zones, whatever they have. Each zone should have, we have that feeling. And definitely, I think, that's how Swami wants to spread into the, see, that is why we are saying, it is not to curtail anybody. We want to share this joy, share this love, share with all this, not to get into fights, not to get into anything. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. It's something personal. I hope you will permit, because I'm from Sri Lanka, and one of the things Sri Lanka prides is the Dalida Maligawa, where the relics of Buddha are there. It's believed that the sons of Ashoka and the daughter brought the relics of, and Buddhism is still flourishing after almost 2,000 years in Sri Lanka. So I think the relics.
For example, see, Sarvadharma Center, when they opened, also we sent a robe from here.
Okay,
and,
I see.
Yeah, we have done that, and we will. All the centers who associate with Prashant Nilayam have the access to everything. Definitely, we will be happy to do that.
Okay, I think we can go on and on. Thanks you for taking time out and repeating the same things over and over again. I don't know whether if you all have anything to say, you can share.
Maybe Mr. Naganand, Mr. Nimish Pandya can say something. Then I will come back. Okay, Naganand sir.
I would like to conclude on a very positive note. We are all here. We are greatly blessed to be with Swami. I remember, I cannot forget this. One very senior lawyer in Bangalore. He's about 10 years older than me and a very reputed lawyer. One day, I asked him about some little case that we are doing which had connection with Swami's institutions. So he said, I want to come to see you. Normally, in our profession, the junior will go to the senior's place. He said, no. I said, I will come. He said, no, I am coming. So I received him in my office and we talked. I said, I was supposed to come. Why did you take? No, you are doing Swami's work. You are asking me about Swami's work. I would be blessed if you only give me the file which you are holding in a hand for me to hold and stand next to you in court when you are arguing. Just imagine what their sentiment is. If we are blessed to do something for Swami, it is the greatest blessing that we can think of. It is not something somebody can earn by anything. Money cannot get you that. It is only Swami's grace that will get you. We are in a unique position of having had connection with Bhagavan, of having seen him, having had his darshan, sparshan, sambhashan, everything, whatever we have today is given by Swami himself. Now, in this unique position which we are having, why is our mind going on like a monkey mind, going everywhere in the world? Swami always used to say, monkey mind, control the monkey mind. No? Let our mind be clear. Let our mind be dhiyo yonaha prachodayat. We know the mantra. No? What does that mean? It means let my mind go illuminated in the right direction. So that is all there is to it. We need not get so much perturbed about international organizations. After all, as a lay devotee, as a person in a Sai center, it's a very simple issue for us to decide. Why are we bothered about some appointment, some committee, this, that, and all? It's all unnecessary in my respectful submission. Let us look at it positively and take it forward and go towards Swami. See, we have to keep on walking towards Swami. If you stop walking, what will happen? You will only continue, the distance will be the same thing. But if you keep on walking towards Swami, you will reach a point of time. When you reach Swami, you touch his feet, you hold his hands, and you merge in him. That is what we should aim for. I think that is how we should look at it. That's
Nimish bhai.
I just want to say one thing, because I am a person born out of the organization right from my first interaction with Bhagwan. And I've always understood that this is the most divine platform created out of great sense of mercy and compassion by the Lord himself, where he said that I have nothing to do with the organization. I have created this organization so that each one of you can strengthen your one-to-one relationship with me. If this is what the whole beauty of this platform of Sri Sathya Sai Seva organization, whether it is in India or any other country is, then I think all office bearers must understand that they are the least important people in this divine mission. It is a privilege granted upon every office bearer to efface his ego, efface his status, and be an instrument to see that every human being associates with this platform called the Sri Sathya Sai Seva organization, so that his journey to the divine lotus feet becomes the easiest journey on earth as far as his sojourn as human life is concerned. Therefore, I think the moment we stop giving importance, as Brother Naganand mentioned about appointments and office bearers, who are at the bottom rung. The structure of the organization is at the top is the devotee, at the rock bottom is the office bearer. He has no importance. He is only there as Swami's instrument to make things easy for the devotee. And I think all office bearers, if they understand this, I think we will succeed in ensuring that the divine will of Bhagwan prevails upon the entire mankind during our lifetimes.
So, Brother Rathanakar, before you answer, I say something. One last question. Okay, the last question is: in the international arena, many centers have registered, but they feel it's such they're all really reporting to a global council or whatever, and so there's some confusion, in terms of who is going to give us instructions, where are we going to get. Indian organization doesn't have that problem. This is, I think, something so unexpected that we are facing. So they feel a bit orphaned. So when will the structure be in place? When can people have somebody to talk to? Because we cannot have conference calls every week with all of you. So what is the plan of action in the near future? And can they see something working out? And that way the people will be a bit more, even if they have to wait patiently, at least they know what is in store and when it will happen. Sai Ram.
Sir.
Yeah, I think plans are afoot. The chairman is going to be Mr. Chakravarti. A secretariat is going to be set up there. Already process of identifying people is already underway. There will be executive assistants there also. There will be a robust communication system that is available. Already a website has already been launched. We have our own IDs now for communications. So you will not have any vacuum. The date announced is Guru Purnima, which is 24th of this month. On that day, the Global Council will formally start functioning, and all our mail IDs and everything for that is already open. So members are free to communicate.
No, they're asking mostly about their countries. How do we function? I think, once all of you have joined, see, we never expected this state, where we expected like how Brother Nimish has come in and SSSIO also will come in. Now, see, there are many countries who have joined already into Global Council. So they will be functioning under Global Council. The structure and the communication lines and whatever it is, I think after Guru Purnima, I think soon we will be giving, there's no change in the structure. See, the Swami's 9-point code of conduct is very clear. We won't change, we won't meddle with it. We can't, we go by whatever Swami has given the charter, and accordingly only no national organization, wherever they are working, will not be disturbed. We will not go into centers and appointing anything. Please, can I complete my say?
Yes,
whatever?
Yes.
Yeah, I appeal to all brothers and sisters in devotees and Sai centers. Don't have any fear, please. Fear is not where Swami's love is there. When you have Swami's love, you should not have any fear. Please don't have any fear about any one of us also. Just be free and even if you are getting fired, those people who are fired, please don't be feeling that you got rejected out of organization. You are part of very much Sai mission, Sai organization. All of you will be part of it, and there is no exclusions in Sai mission. But again, I appeal to all of you, just join. It's a beautiful thing. Very Swami, it will make Swami very happy. In fact, don't ever fear us, or Central Trust is not going to control. I want to again say, and we are not bad people as some people are making out. It's not so. In fact, Brother Naganand will definitely 100% agree with me. We were literally abused. Even last April, when we asked for a Zoom call, we asked Brother Naganand sent and Dr. Mohan sent. The way we were, the reactions, believe me, nobody will ever go back to them and sit in a Zoom call. They called us almost snakes, and I think Mr. Sadanand, they said we are folk tongue guys. And Phil Goslin says dismiss managing trustee. He says, and shame on Sathya Sai trustees. Baba deserves better. This is the kind of the top office bearers. They talk spirituality to others. And in spite of all that, why I'm saying is, in spite of all that, when they said we want to have a Zoom call, we all went. So we are not such bad guys, and please don't have any problem, don't have any fear. We repeatedly, after all these last 6 months of bashing in Zoom calls, everything, we still went ahead, but we tried our best. They were not the ones, they were the ones who were not clear, and we are very clear. Anytime, just now, in the beginning of the Zoom call, Brother Naganand, Brother Nimish, we were just jokingly saying, we don't need any preparation because we have nothing to, we can, even midnight you wake us up and ask us to give a Zoom call, we will be, there is no need for us to get prepared, because we will talk facts, we will talk the truth. There's no problem. So please don't have any fears, and it's a beautiful thing, and please connect to Prashant Nilayam, please connect to Swami, and it will make Swami immensely happy, and his blessings will be upon all of you immensely. The moment you are connecting to Prashant Nilayam, it is not individuals, definitely not individuals, and it is an institutionalizing of an arrangement, and this is for good for future. It's not for any one of us. It will safeguard, it is a safeguard for future. So don't have any hesitation, please. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, brother. I thank all the panelists for taking time out, and sometimes what you have to say is ad nauseum. You had to repeat the same things again and again. And I also wanted to point out that the 95% of devotees of Swami means the people who accept Swami as divine. Everyone is a devotee actually, and they are part of a global council. Even among the rest 5%, if you say, of that about 60% or more have already signed up, that leaves about 1 or 2% of devotees. Even among them, I'm sure many devotees want to be connected to Prashant Nilayam. But I don't think you would want to leave anyone out. So you have taken time out and come and be patiently explaining your positions so that everyone is brought into the into the family, I would say, so that we all can join hands and offer ourselves to Swami and his work, and through that process we will redeem ourselves. That's the purpose of joining the organization.
Somebody just send me a message, Nimish Bhai and Naganand, somebody send me a message, please extend a friendship hand to even SSSIO. See, we never cut off anybody is welcome, and all of them welcome, and all SSSIO office bases, top to down, you're all most welcome. Our stand is very clear. Please do join. We'll all be together. We have no issue, but it's up to you. So, sorry, somebody send me, please.
Okay. Definitely, please. This is not a personal war. This is definitely
nothing.
War.
No.
We can never forget. We can never forget that we are bound to see Swami in everyone and love everyone, irrespective of caste, color, creed, and religion.
In fact, I told even in Australia, even a non-believer can come into Prashant Nilayam. Anybody can, any part of the globe, anybody can come in, and all office bearers of SSSIO also, please don't have any inhibitions. Please do join.
And now, and Rathanakar, I also want to mention in the end, I want to address all my brothers and sisters all over North America who are not Indians, but they are either Native Americans or from any other country. Indians will never dominate anybody. Historically, culturally, Indians have never dominated anybody in the world. Right through the history of mankind, we have always been an inclusive community. Indians welcome everybody with open arms. And in fact, we give you more respect than we give to our own selves. And I think that is one message that I want to share with every devotee, brothers and sisters who are not Indians. Please let us not raise this issue that Indians don't want to dominate. Indians by nature cannot dominate. They do not know how to dominate. I think that's the cultural truth of our times.
Okay. Yes, Arno, again, close it.
Okay, Sai Ram, thank you very much.
No, can we close it with a prayer?
Yes, we will say Samastaloka and close. I will stop talking.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Sai Ram.
Thank you.
Sai Ram to everybody. Sai Ram to everybody. Sai Ram to America.
Sai Ram.
Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much. And Jai Sai Ram.
Sathya Sai Baba Ji ki
Thank you.
Jai.